foundation from Clinique. This is the newest addition to the Even Better range. This is called the Even Better Refresh Hydrating and Repairing Makeup. It's like a mouthful, but this is an extension to the Even Better. Now, you guys know I love the Even Better Glow. I don't have the Even Better Original. That is one that I want to pick up and try because I've heard it's amazing, but I've really loved the Glow. It's been beautiful on my skin, and I've just really enjoyed it. So I didn't hesitate a bit to buy this one. This one retails for $32 for 1 fluid ounce. You can pick this up on Ulta. You can pick this up on the Clinique website. If you have not purchased from Clinique website, you can actually go on there and enter your email. I think they send you a 10 or 15% off discount code. So that would be a nice way to buy this. I'm just gonna throw this in here. While you're there, throw this in your bag, okay? This is the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara, and I used to use this, and I stopped using it, and I don't know why, because I could really kick myself. Not only does it have a small brush on it, which I absolutely love, and allows you to grab every single hair on the lower lash line, but it stays put. So I don't know if you guys are like me, but sometimes by the end of the night, I'll have mascara in between my eyes, like right in the corner, like the tear ducts. It'll be just kind of, not a mess, but somewhat of a mess. This does not budge. Not only does it look really beautiful on the lower lash line, but it doesn't budge. So I highly recommend it. It's 12 bucks. This one is become one of my top 5 favorite foundations. So, you know, I've really loved this. I think the only thing that I didn't like about this one is that I preferred a little bit more coverage. And so when I apply it, I really have to pack it on to get the coverage. So that would be the only negative. So when I seen this one, I was like, okay, well, I wonder if it's as good as this one, but you just get more coverage because this one is supposed to be full coverage. So the details on this is it says it's for dry combination and oily combination skin. I guess normal, you're SOL. Full coverage foundation with 24-hour wear that revitalizes skin for a more youthful look. It is a 24-hour hydrating foundation with a flawless full coverage and a natural finish. It creates a virtually poreless look, smooths and plumps for younger looking skin. It has hyaluronic acid, which plumps fine dry lines. Its potent peptides help keep skin smooth, and the salicylic acid retexturizes the skin. Now, I don't know if I believe all that, but I will say, if you're looking for a full coverage, I don't know that this is full coverage. I talk about that later on in the video, but I do not believe this is full coverage. I think it's buildable, but I don't feel like it's automatically full coverage. So just know that going into it. Now, for those of you guys that are new to my channel, I am almost 40 and I am dry normal. Right now, during the winter, I'm more dry. Right now, I'm definitely becoming a little bit more on the normal side. I'm not quite as dry as I was during the winter. Because I'm more dry normal, I typically never wear matte foundations. If I wear matte foundations, it's more of like a satin natural matte. So anything that's real drying or heavy on the face, I just cannot wear, especially being 40. Like, heavy makeup just does not look good on my skin. Bottom line, it never looks good over the wrinkles. I don't wear any translucent powders. I don't bake or anything like that. The only powder that I will wear that I've just fallen in love with is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is unbelievably beautiful on the face, but I will basically put that kind of in the T-zone area to kind of smooth everything out. But other than that, that's pretty much the only powders that I wear. So I really need my foundations to perform on their own without a bunch of powders onto it. I don't buff powders in and all that. So I need a lot for my foundations. My problematic areas, I would say, are I have some hyperpigmentation, especially on the forehead is where it's the most prominent. I have texture along here from hormonal adult acne. So I do prefer a medium coverage, but I never want my foundation to look really heavy. So I like my foundation to look as skin-like as possible. So I'm definitely into the whole glowy, natural type foundations, which is the reason why I love this one. So let's get into the shades a little bit, because as you know, Clinique's shade range is a little bit wonky. And the reason why I say that is because there's no neutral shades. They're either cool neutral or warm neutral. There's no just neutral shades. And their warm shades are exceptionally warm. So I am a medium with a warm neutral undertone. I prefer a warmer undertone because I do wear fake tan, but sometimes foundations can be a little bit too warm, and I do find that Clinique can be a little bit too warm, but I chose this in the shade WN76 Toasted Wheat, and I do think that this was a really good shade match for me. And for those of you that are wondering if you are close to my shade match, I will leave a full list of all the foundations that I wear and the shades that I wear in those foundations in the description box down below, so you can use that as a reference. But in this one, I actually wear WN44, which is T. I would say that they're very close in shade. I think this one was a tad bit lighter when I swatched them next to each other. So this one's a little bit lighter than this one. The other issue that I have with the shade range is not great, especially if you are a deeper skin tone. I mean, I'm going to put the shade range right up here on the screen. I know that this is a new launch and I get it, but it feels like this foundation is catering to light medium, because even like the medium skin range seems to be like really, really orange. As you'll notice, Toasted Wheat is almost to the end. So there's only 7 shades past Toasted Wheat. So just know that majority of these shades are for light medium skin tone. And you only have 7 shades out of 27 shades that are past a medium with a golden undertone. That definitely tells me that this caters to a light to medium skin tone. Even though they didn't release a lot of shades with this foundation, it seems like they will eventually start adding more. This one actually has 30 shades. This is the Clinique Even Better Glow. And the regular Even Better foundation, I believe, has 57 shades, 56, 57 shades. So I'm assuming that they'll eventually add more shades with it. And the other thing that I want to point out is this one, even though it's higher in number than this one, this is a WN44T, and this one is 76 Toasted Wheat. Don't go by the numbers when you're buying this foundation, and I really, you really need to pick your shade based on, how you would do it from the beginning, because this one's lighter than this one, and this is this is in the 40s and this is in the 70s. Don't base your shade purchase from this foundation based on this foundation, because they definitely don't really match. If you're struggling with trying to find the shade online, I recommend just going into your local Clinique. They have them in like Macy's and Dillard's and Belk and all those types of places. Nordstrom's, I think, has Clinique. So I would go in there and get shade matched and buy it there if you're struggling with trying to find the right shade. That's it for all the information about the foundation. Let's jump straight into the application portion of the video. I'm going to apply it twice on camera, once alone, and then once comparing it to the Even Better Glow. And then I will come back all at the end and let you guys know my final thoughts on this foundation. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so let's get applying this foundation. I had to push pause. I'm watching last night's Housewives of Beverly Hills episode, and this whole John Blizzard dog thing, I'm so over. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Drives me nuts. Okay, we're not talking about the Housewives. We're going to talk about putting on this foundation. Okay, we're going to do it. So I obviously am putting on my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I've been testing out so many foundations, sometimes now 2 a week for the last 2 weeks. I do have the new one from Ole Henriksen, and I have the gripping primer. Oh my gosh, I've bought so many new primers. I just got this one and I spilled some of it. This one I got from watching Jaclyn Hill's favorites video. I know, I was sucked in when she said that it makes everything flawless. I'll be testing out those primers soon, but I gotta test those primers out with foundations that I know, not foundations that I'm testing. Do you see what I'm saying? So primers are coming, you guys. It's coming. So we're gonna go ahead and test this out. Now it's supposed to be full coverage. So I would say this one is more like a medium coverage situation, and you kind of have to build it up. So this one's supposed to be full. So I'm excited to test this one out. I really am. I'm just gonna start out with this much first, and we'll see. We'll see if that's enough. So half of the face I'm going to apply with a sponge and half the face with a brush. Let's start applying this one. I would say this is a good shade match. And so far, I don't know that I would call this full coverage. All right, so I just went ahead and built up coverage right here. I would say this is more of like a medium situation. Let's go ahead and apply this side with a sponge only. Better coverage with the sponge automatically. Don't get me wrong, I have more texture on this side than I do this side, but I feel like even on my forehead, the coverage, you know, it feels like you get instant coverage with a sponge, more so than you do with a brush. I want to know what the difference is between these two foundations. So I think during this review process, I'm going to compare these. So today I'm going to wear all over the face just this foundation. I think tomorrow I'll apply this one on one side and this one on the other. And then, you know, maybe the next day just apply it all by itself again. I feel like this looks really healthy, really natural. I think this looks really good. I really do. Let's go ahead and turn the ring light off so you guys can see what it looks like in more natural lighting. So I have the window in front of me and then I have the two umbrella lights over here in the corner. This is a little bit more natural lighting, and as you can see, I think the shade matches pretty good. I don't see why I would need a different shade. I don't see that this is gathering weird in any area. I don't feel like it's attaching to my wrinkles. I feel like it looks really hydrated, but it's a tiny bit tacky, but not too bad. I mean, it's not that bad. So this looks really good. Okay, so let's apply this today and compare it and wear it with this one. So you guys, this didn't last very long as far as coverage yesterday. I don't know if maybe I didn't build it up properly, but like I did a check-in on the concealer that I am testing, which as this video goes up, you've already seen it, the Marc Jacobs. In my late night checkup, in that video, I was like, oh my gosh, like the first late night checkup when I was just wearing the concealer alone, I was also wearing this foundation and my face looked pretty haggard as far as just, I lost a lot of coverage, especially like right up here on my hyperpigmentation, right along here, and it's supposed to be 24-hour wear. So maybe I didn't build it up. I don't know, you guys, but I'm excited to test it with this one today. So we're going to jump straight into the application so that this isn't a million years long, because I'm pretty good at that. So I'm going to throw on my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base as usual. And I'm going to get my skin kind of nice and hydrated. The best way for me to apply this foundation to get the best coverage and the best finish is applying it with a sponge. And it's because it's a thicker foundation, and sometimes with a thicker foundation, it's easier and it looks prettier with a sponge versus a brush. So I'm going to just apply it with a sponge, and then with this one, my favorite way to do it is to kind of stipple it on the skin and then smooth it out with a sponge. So that is what we are going to do. Here's the old one, here's the new one. As you can see, the old one is a thinner consistency because it's like running down. This one is pretty thick. This new one is thick. And I would say the shade is pretty close. Let's do a shade comparison because I didn't do that. So this is the new one. This is the Even Better. I'm just going to say new one, old one, you guys, because it's so much easier for me. I don't know if it's easier for you. This is the old one. This is the new one, and that's just how I'm going to do it. So this is the new one. This one's the old one. So those shades are very similar. This one may be a tad bit lighter, like a tiny bit lighter, but other than that, it's pretty much the same shade. I'm going to put the old one on first, and I'm going to put it on this side. Look how that melts. That's the thing that I love about this foundation the most, is that it melts into the skin. It just like literally melts. It's so magical. I love it so much. It is one of my favorites. And for those of you out there that have like dry, normal skin, you probably love this foundation too. Anybody that has tried this, that loves that glowy finish and that nice hydration, but it's a foundation that sets down. It's just amazing. I love it so much. I will also put my review of this foundation up in the iCards. Just for those of you guys that have not seen that, I will link it up here in the iCards that you can go ahead and watch that once you're done watching this video. Now I'm just going to kind of press that into my skin with a sponge. I'm going to go on the other side of the sponge, and I'm going to go down into the new one and start applying this. And I'm really going to try to build up the coverage today. That's going to be kind of my main focus, and try to build it up to see if it lasts longer than it did yesterday, because man, it just did not last very long. I will say the difference I'm noticing right off the bat is I do get quicker coverage with the new one. So I think we're done. Let's go ahead and pull you guys closer so you guys can kind of inspect the skin and start seeing the differences between these two foundations. So I'm really not seeing a lot of differences between these two just by applying them. So we'll see how they wear and perform throughout the day next to each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and call the check-in time. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna wear this for 12 hours today. I will do a midday check-in, probably around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I'll come back later on this evening to show you guys how both of these look. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna wear one more day alone so that I can really get a feel for the foundation, and then I'll upload the video. So I will see you guys in my midday check-in. Okay everyone, I am back for a midday check-in on the two foundations that I am wearing and comparing. On this side, I'm wearing the Even Better Glow. On this side, I'm wearing the Even Better Refresh. By the way, it is 4:30 in the afternoon, so I've had it on for, it's been about 6.5 hours now, so about the midway mark. The only differences that I'm noticing between these two foundations is that this one is a little bit more on the cakey side as far as just, it looks like you have foundation on, just a little bit. Like, I don't really feel like this melts into the skin quite like this one does. Don't get me wrong, it still looks really pretty on the skin, but I feel like this one, there's just something very beautiful about the way that it applies. Now, as you can see, I'm starting to lose my coverage on this side, which on this side I'm not. And don't get me wrong, this side I don't have quite the texture issues that I have on this side. This one is like your skin but better. This one is more like it's your skin but better, but with foundation on. You know what I'm saying? So this one you can tell you have foundation on, and this one is a little bit more deceiving. So this is how it's looking on the forehead. And as you can see, like, I'm not seeing much of a difference between these two foundations. Seriously, on the forehead, there's not much difference, but it's on this part of my face I'm noticing the most. So this is the Even Better Glow. This side is the Even Better Refresh. Okay, so that's it for this check-in. I will come back later on this evening to show you guys how both of these are wearing, so I will see you guys then. Okay, so I am back, and it is currently just after 11 o'clock. There we go. So I wanted to give you guys an update on the way that these foundations are wearing. I will say this one has worn better today because I did build up the coverage right around here where my hyperpigmentation is. I feel like my coverage has lasted longer by using this than it did yesterday. Yesterday, like by the end of the night, the coverage was like gone. My foundation looked ratchet. But applying it with the sponge is key to this, in my opinion. I feel like when I applied it with the brush, I didn't get the best coverage and it didn't last as long as I need it to. As you can see, I've lost a lot of the coverage from the Even Better Glow, and that's kind of normal when I'm wearing this foundation. It's just something that I'm okay with because I love it that much. But with this side, I feel like I've maintained the coverage and it doesn't look as like cakey and heavy as it did earlier today. But as the day has gone on, it's looking better and better. So as the foundation has worn off, this like creeping skin attaching to it has gotten better. Only difference that I'm seeing so far between these two foundations is that this one has more coverage and this one looks more skin-like. So the deal is they're both very refreshing. They're both very hydrating. I feel like the only difference between these two are the coverage, and because of the coverage, you feel like with this one, you feel like you have makeup on. With this one, this is such a natural, like skin-like foundation that you don't feel like you have foundation on, but you don't get as much coverage because I have to use quite a bit of this to really build up the coverage. That's probably my only thing that I'm seeing different about it. Tomorrow I'm gonna apply this only all over the face just on its own, and I'm gonna apply it with a sponge like I did today. I feel like the sponge is definitely the best way to apply this. So that's how I'm gonna wear it tomorrow. Honestly, I think they're both hydrating. I feel like they both look really pretty on the skin. They both have a nice glow to them. Like I felt like, this side is just as glowy as this side. And this is a type of foundation that gives you the glow, but without the dewy. So honestly, you guys, that's really the only difference I'm seeing between these two is this one just provides more coverage and it lasts longer if you apply it right. Okay, so I've went ahead and zoomed you guys in so you guys can see. And of course, I've lost some coverage up here, but I'm okay with that. Like I would rather lose some of the coverage than have that just be like a cakey mess up there. So I'm okay with that. As long as it's some coverage by the end of the night. Like I don't want no coverage. And the other thing I don't want is it to kind of break away. That's another thing sometimes I don't like about full coverage foundations is sometimes they'll start to separate on the skin and then they get like kind of patchy. But this one doesn't do that. So I can appreciate that. So this is the side with the Even Better Glow. As you can see, I've lost a lot of my coverage around here. I really have. I mean, that's kind of what happens with this foundation. Yesterday I didn't really like this foundation, but today it's kind of redeeming it. So that's why I'm so glad I'm wearing it one more day, because now I'm going to wear it all. I'm just going to only wear that one tomorrow and give it another day of full wear and really kind of inspect it and then be able to make my decision, because yesterday I didn't really love it. But today I really like the way this is worn. I think this side looks really good and it looks pretty natural still. So I like it. So let's turn the ring light off. This is more of a natural lighting situation. I just have the two umbrella lights in the corner. It looks really smooth over the forehead. It's not dewy, but it's not dewy, but it's hydrating. And it's not dewy, it's not wet, but it still looks luminous and it still has that glow to it. So both of these are really good foundations. Okay, so that's it for this final check-in. I will see you guys in tomorrow night's check-in. I don't think I'll come back and do another application. You guys have seen me apply this twice. I don't know that you need to see me do it 3 times. So the next time you guys will see me will be tomorrow evening after wearing it another full day. So I will see you guys then. Okay, you guys, I am back for my final thoughts. It is the final night of me wearing this. I've worn this now for 3 days, 2 days on its own, and 1 day comparing it with the Even Better Glow. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is a nice foundation, and actually, I think I might like it more than the Even Better Glow. I'm kind of surprised by that because the first day I wore it, I hated it. It wasn't that I hated it, I just didn't like it. It's my fault. I actually lost the footage, so I did do some check-ins because I was reviewing the concealer at the same time, and I was doing the check-ins for the foundation the first day I wore it, but I think I deleted the footage. I can't find it anywhere, so I'm very sorry about that. But, you know, if you guys want to see what my face looked like, all you have to do is go and check the review of this concealer, which I uploaded yesterday, and it's in the iCards. And you'll notice in the first day that I wore this, I come back and did like a 12-hour check-in at the first day. You'll see that my foundation looked really bad, but my concealer looked really good. The first day I didn't love it, but I think it was the way I applied it. I feel like the way that I applied it kind of affected it. But after, you know, once I applied it yesterday, comparing it to this one, and as I looked at my face throughout the day, I was like, wow. And you guys, I think this is the prettiest foundation I've worn through the camera. So if you look in the Pat McGrath video I just uploaded of the new mini ecstasy like collection that she just put up, that video I was wearing this foundation in, and my foundation looked gorgeous in that video. And yesterday, reviewing the Marc Jacobs concealer, my foundation looked amazing. And as you'll notice in today, like throughout the intro, my foundation looks really good through the camera, and I really like this foundation. I would give this a 5. I really like it. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm giving it a 5. It is really, really pretty. And I do think that this is a foundation that can get a little bit heavy if you're not careful with the way that you apply it. Because the only thing I would say that's negative about it is that it's not full coverage. It states that it's full coverage, but it's not full coverage. You do have to build it to a full coverage. It's doable, but be careful building it too much, because if you build it too much, it can get a little bit thick and cakey, especially over wrinkles and texture and stuff like that. So if you build it, just be careful. This is a foundation that I think looks absolutely beautiful applied with a sponge. I don't like this foundation with a brush, and I think it's just because it's a thicker consistency. But this is hands down beautiful. I love this one. But this one I can wear on those good skin days. You know, this is not one that I can wear when I'm having a breakout and I need that coverage, because I just have to work so hard to build the coverage with this one. But this one, on the other hand, I think this would be a beautiful foundation to wear on breakout days. And I mean, I love the way this looks. I've loved the way my skin looks yesterday and today. I've loved it. I think it's beautiful over pores. This is not a foundation that I feel like dramatizes pores. If your problematic area is enlarged pores, I still do recommend wearing a pore filling primer over those. Now that I've reviewed it, I will play around with it with other primers and just kind of play around with it. I've been reviewing 2 foundations every week for like 2 weeks straight now. So there's been no days in between that I can kind of play around with other foundations. So I'm actually taking a break from playing around with all these foundations, and I am going to wear all the foundations I've been reviewing for the last 2 months. I'm going to be doing a full update on palettes, foundations, and all of that. So be on the look for that video, probably coming up the end of next week. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this foundation review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to come right back here tomorrow. I am reviewing this new collection, the new mini collection from Dose of Colors. Now, I have the Mickey collection, and I loved the Mickey collection, so I was super excited to get the mini collection. So I'm going to be playing with that tomorrow and uploading that video on Sunday for you guys. So come right back here at 11 a.m. so you guys can check that out. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend filled with love and happiness. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I love you all so much. Bye! In my opinion, the best way to shitskis and really, you know, give it another full weight. Holy shit. Oh shit. I about knocked myself out with the box. It's time for a bath time, and I gotta go wash my stank ass hair. You can see all the foundation like gunked up in my hair. Yeah, it's time for me to go get in the tub and wash this nasty ass rankety ass hair, okay, because it's bad. I'm gonna go edit the rest of this video in the bathtub and wash this hair because it is ratchet. Peace out with your nasty hair, Tara. Like, seriously. Ugh.